Good afternoon, guys. So today I have something pretty exciting for you. As my blog stated on Monday, I'm really focusing in on how to get the youth plugged back into this industry. As I've said kind of in my blog, I gave some real numbers to say that, there will be 80,000 job openings within this industry within the next year. And by 2026, we'll have 160,000 job openings. And that, for the older age group, we have a lot of guys in this industry that's 40 to 50 years old that will be actually retiring within the next couple of years. So what does that mean for our industry? How do we get young guys to be excited about getting into this industry, and how can software help with that? So today I invited some friends of mine, and actually invited three. So the one young man couldn't make it because he's actually on a service call. Sunday afternoon, got a call coming in, so he rolled out to that to bring some comfort to those homeowners, which I'm really proud of. So let me just introduce these guys. So here to my left is my son, my middle son, Grayson. He's actually still in high school, but already working for a heating and air conditioning company. And to my other side is my nephew, Isaiah. And Isaiah, with a little bit of my guidance, got into the HVAC industry, Isaiah, about a year ago?
Yeah, a year and a half.
Year and a half ago, right? And then the guy that couldn't make it, Josh actually, I coached him in rugby since he was, middle school age, all the way through high school. And he went 1 year to university and then decided to come back and start in the HVAC industry, and is doing really well, actually 3 years into his career. And so, like I just mentioned, he was out on a service call. So today I just want to sit down with these guys and just have a candid conversation about how do we get youth into this wonderful industry that has helped me feed my family for the last 25 years, and how do we incentivize them, and how do we make their job easier through software. So with that said, I'm going to let them kind of introduce themselves real quick. So Grayson, you go first. Can you tell us just kind of who you're currently working for?
I'm Grayson. I work for Heat Transfer Solutions.
All right. And so you're doing that over the summer. You kind of did that as a full-time gig, but now while school's in, you're working there in the afternoon some, right?
Yeah.
Right. And is this industry something you think you might be doing for the future?
I do.
All right. Good. Isaiah?
My name's Isaiah. I work for Delta T Services. I'm currently a service technician, and I do installs sometimes as well. So I absolutely love the HVAC industry. It's probably been one of my greatest joys of all my jobs, and I've had a couple. There's a lot to learn. It's a lot of fun when you get out there and really get to start learning and being able to troubleshoot and figure out problems. And it's a great industry, a great field.
So what's interesting with this being family members, he's picking the HVAC industry because it's kind of what his dad's done, and he found it to be interesting, and so going forth. However, my journey into the HVAC industry has really been kind of more like Isaiah's, where the HVAC industry picked me, I didn't pick it, right? Like
Yeah.
you kind of got picked by this industry and brought in, and then it was all good after that, right? You kind of fell in love with it from there.
I fell in love with it would be an understatement. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about just what you guys' daily kind of things were. So Grayson, throughout the summer, kind of what were the things you were doing?
I did a lot of installs, and I went on a few service calls, but I did a lot more installs.
And then I believe you were kind of made the pseudo warehouse manager. You had to kind of make sure everything was kind of sorted out and then in its right place, right?
Organized.
And you drove a broom a little bit?
I did.
Yes, and so kind of started at the bottom of the industry, kind of working your way up, yeah? All right, Isaiah, you kind of started with a different company than the one you are now.
Yeah.
And walk us through that a little bit.
So I'm still, even though I've done it for a year and a half now, I'm definitely still in my apprenticeship phase of the job. I mean, there's so much to learn and so much to understand and really grasp before, you can really become an excellent technician in this industry and field. But it's a lot of being under houses, being in hot attics in the summer. In the winter, it's a little it's cold in the attics. It's nice and kind of a little more warm in the crawl spaces. But it's hard work. It's hot. Your goal is to have grandma or grandpa or just the family to keep them cool and to keep them happy.
So that's really cool. And so I love Isaiah's answer, because starting out in this industry to where I am now, where I'm the fat guy sitting in an office, trying to sell software, that was my job. That was my job, kind of getting in an attic, making sure everybody had heating and cooling. And I got to do it in downtown DC, which was kind of awesome.
Yeah, probably
So
real busy.
you're in Raleigh, North Carolina, which the weather's a little different. So guys, talk to me a little bit about what software has done for you in your journey, right? So how software has made it easier. Now, Grayson, I don't expect you to have a ton of input here just because you're kind of the high school kid kind of coming in. But tell me a little bit about if software has made an impact on what you're doing on a daily standing.
So I did notice at the end of every install and service call, we did have to input information, what we did, how long it took. If we took a break, we had to input all of that into our software
So why do you think that was important?
to let our bosses and owner know what was going on and if it went smooth or not.
Good. How about you? So you're a little bit on the service side, right, Isaiah?
Yeah.
So you actually have been with two companies now, two different kind of ERP softwares, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to mention it here, right?
No.
Big competitors of Thermogrid. However, you've kind of lived that life. So how did that software make your day-to-day easier?
To be honest with you, kind of like what Grayson said, but on top of that, software is not a lot of writing. It's more all computer based and everything like that. But it's really easy to be able to go to your software and be able to pull up parts and then be able to pull up labor, add everything in, kind of be able to show a customer price ranges. You can be able to show them estimates. You can be able to give them options and a whole bunch of other things when it comes down to it. It's easy to log, and it's a lot nicer to keep track kind of on a device where software is. Let me rephrase that. It's kind of nice to be able to keep everything and be able to look at all your charts and everything on like a software or a program, and it makes it really easy when you with your job to be able to pull up all the stuff or be able to do truck inventory, or just kind of it helps with your day to day in your service work.
So that's all very cool, but one of the points that I'm trying to get across here is you're a new guy,
Yeah.
stepping out of high school, knowing nothing about this industry, don't even know what a set of gauges really kind of looks like.
Yeah.
Then you get as an apprentice, you get to start learning how those things are, and then you do really well, and within a year you're put out on a truck to kind of run your own service calls, maybe more maintenance than service altogether. Yeah. Pretty stressful.
Very stressful.
Right?
Very stressful.
So how did software in that atmosphere make that job easier for you to kind of relax you from that stress? And or is there things software can do better to help you be less stressful?
You might have to cut this part out. I'm kind of lost. I'm kind of lost in how it. Well, I'm trying to think about how it would help me out. Like.
Okay, so let me do it this way. When I was a service technician, I had a pager and a roll of quarters, right? And so when my next service call came in, it came over a pager. I had a paper ticket, no database to go back to see what I'm walking into.
You have to go on the phone.
And so I had a paper ticket, and then I had to go to the payphone to call the customer to tell them I'm on my way. Then I showed up to the job. I had no job history because I have a paper ticket and a pager, right? Where I think your job is a ton better right now because of software, right?
Because of the fact that I have that customer history, I have the database, I have all of the prior information, what has happened there. It does make it a lot easier in the sense of you can track and log everything that's going on at a specific property. You can, the communication between other technicians, software in the sense of Yeah, pretty much when it comes to I'm lost. Yeah.
No, that's a great
That's
answer.
kind of what I was getting
Yeah,
at, though.
absolutely, right? So it makes your job easier
Yeah.
when you get to the customer's house, and it actually helps you
To be able to
pro-
log and
right. Not just that, but it provide better customer service,
Yeah.
right? So you show up and you see we've had 3 clogged drain lines here.
Mhm.
Now I can go in and dig into the industry and or the history, and I can see 3 clogged drain lines, so I can actually dig in a little bit more to find out why is this happening.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
And so it lends itself to better customer service.
Yeah,
Right.
that's-
So no cutting necessary. Good answer.
Yeah,
That
no,
was
that's
good.
kind of what I was getting at.
Right.
That's what I was
Good
getting
answer.
at.
So Grayson, for you, and I know that your current company is currently looking at our software as an option, right? And they have a little bit more of an antiquated system, but you've been on a couple of service calls now. Have the company been able to pull up previous history, kind of through, what has been going on the job site, that type of stuff?
Yes.
Okay, and how did that make the job go easier?
We could have seen, if we've already had someone go out there, we could have seen their notes on what they saw and see if that's still an occurring problem or what they have fixed and what still needs to be done.
Oh, very cool. Very, very cool. Now, I would think that having a software on your phone or your tablet, what do you guys use, phones or tablets?
Tablet.
Tablets. Nice.
Tablets.
Just let me point out again that I had a pager and a roll of quarters. So I had to go find a payphone, right?
Yeah.
So, however, you have all the stuff on your tablet. Now let me ask you this. How many times have you come to a unit and you're starting to troubleshoot, right? And I've been there. I've done this. And you're like, I'm really not sure what's going on here. You guys have Google. I had the head technician's
books,
phone number, right?
yeah,
So
better, yeah.
how many times do you guys kind of get on the internet, kind of say, listen, this is what I'm seeing. Can you guys, can you find something online that helps? Does that help? Does that happen often?
All the time. I get humbled on the daily basis at my job. all the time.
Well, good. That's good. And Grayson, you kind of didn't have to be in that service experience yet, right? So
I mean, I've seen it a few
you've
times.
seen it a few times. Everybody around you kind of Googled real
Yeah.
quick, what do we do about this? So listen, I think YouTube's a great tool. I mean,
Yeah.
how many of yours engines and cars have I fixed because I've watched YouTube, right? So it happens all the time.
It's even nice just to learn, and outside
Right.
of work when you're not working, it's nice just to search up videos and be able to get more knowledge on what you do. It just makes it that much more fun and better, honestly.
So let me ask a little bit about the software that you currently are using and how that helps with the inventory management piece. So does the software currently using allow you to see what's on your truck without you going back there and checking?
Not the one that I currently use, no.
Would that be helpful,
That would be very helpful.
right?
That would be very helpful.
So you're able to pull up to the driveway, kind of know what's in the truck, what's not, and then kind of run it by serial number of the
Yeah.
unit that you know you're going to go look at. You go out there, you see it's a failed capacitor, and then if it's not in your truck, being able to actually order that off of the software, that would be fairly helpful.
That would be incredibly helpful.
Good.
Incredibly helpful.
Very good. So the inventory management piece is something that I think you guys haven't had a ton of experience with yet, but that's pretty cool, pretty up and coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk a little bit about training online. What are you guys seeing? Where do you guys go for training? Do you use any training online?
Other than like YouTube and TikTok and stuff like that, I'll watch videos on people working on AC units or new and upcoming stuff that'll help a technician and stuff like that. But actual training wise, I do not have I don't use a specific program or app or anything like that.
Now, Grayson, you've been with some technicians in the field. Have you seen them pull up a YouTube video every once in a while?
I have.
So everybody uses it?
Yes, sir.
All right, so the funny thing here is we're actually in the midst of a celebrity because I believe your TikTok channel is what now, up to how many users or how many
It's
followers?
like 5,000 views and like almost 1,000 likes on one of my replacement reversing valve videos. Yeah.
So tell me about that. So you just shot a video and then
Pretty much just kind of explaining just like how a day in HVAC goes and what a replacement of a reversing valve looks like, and it got an incredible amount of attention and a whole bunch of likes and everything, and it was pretty cool. And as little as it is just me recording my job and everything, it's like people love to see that type of stuff, and it's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. So as we're kind of talking about software and how it helps you on your job, what I want to pivot to at the moment is something that's actually a little bit more important than anything else we've talking about at this point, and that's how do we encourage young people your age to get into this industry? Because we live in a society where everybody is really heavily forced to go into college, right? And I think several family members talked to you about going to college.
Yeah.
There was some pressure there, right?
Yeah.
And
100%.
there's been some discussions about what your future is and what your plans are, right? And so, and you guys know through the rugby program that I help coach, we really incentivize or we help kids get to college.
Yeah.
However, we've switched that emphasis now and that focus to say not everybody goes to college.
No.
Let's get into the trades, right?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your thought pattern on why trades versus college.
I'm not knocking school at all. If you think school is the right path for you, I'd 100% go with school if that's what you want to do. But personally for me, I enjoy learning, but not in a classroom setting. I definitely found, once I got the opportunity to do HVAC, I found that using my hands and being in kind of like a skilled workshop area, it was something that I definitely liked a whole lot more than sitting in a classroom and being kind of stuck to like a school way of learning and like a specific way of being taught certain things, whereas in the HVAC industry it's more of a mechanical industry. You can kind of learn how to fix stuff and do whatever you there's a whole bunch of stuff to do in the industry. You're not stuck to exactly just one thing, but I it's just been a lot of fun. Personally, I think it's a great thing for younger people to get into. If not, it's something that you could at least try or maybe look up and see if it would be something that you would be interested in. But I think it's a great field, and I think there's a lot to it, and there's a lot of enjoyment that comes out of it once you learn how to do stuff properly.
That's pretty cool. How about you? So you still have the option. You're in the senior year of high school, and we've had some discussions, and everybody should know there's absolutely no pressure from your parents to do whatever you want to do. It's your decision. But you've kind of made a decision against going to college and maybe taking this route. You have a brother in college, right? And so what was your thought pattern there?
That if I already don't like going to school every day, I'm not going to go pay for 4 years to go do even more school.
Valid point. And it should be said, you're an AB student. You do really well. It's just not your jam right now, right? So let's talk a little bit about the financial aspect of that, right? So Isaiah, you haven't been through official type of schooling stuff. You're doing some courses here and there, some stuff I got you into, but like even if I think Grayson, we looked at this, like you getting into JCC, which is a local community college next year. You're looking at $6,000 for a degree in HVAC, which is an actual degree, guys. Through Johnson County Community College, you can get a degree in this. And I think 2 years is $6,000 versus going to college, right? And I think your brother is on a 4-year degree and we're $60,000 in, right? So how do you guys kind of see that play out, right? So I think, you get into HVAC, kind of get into the trades. Doesn't have to be just HVAC. It could be plumbing, electrical. 4 years from now, you've paid $6,000. You're making an average of 25 to 28 an hour. Money-wise, where are you going to be versus where your brother comes out from graduating?
After a few years, I'm going to be without any student loans or anything, and he will still be paying that until he's 40 or 50 years old.
Now, it's not a bad thing, right? That's not his career path. He's really not kind of a blue-collar guy. He wants to do different things. So it's not bad for him. However, what we're saying is you'll be further ahead financially at that point. Isaiah?
And something also super cool about this industry too is if you show the determination and you really show the workmanship and everything like that, 9 times out of 10, if you work for a good company, they'll pay for you to go take classes and they'll pay for some of your schooling, and they will make sure that you be able to get some of the best knowledge possible if you're up for that and you show that that's what you really want. Most companies will help you out in that sense, and they want to see you succeed, and they want to, like, they'll pay for you to be able to become an absolutely great technician or installer or wherever you see yourself in the HVAC industry.
Great. That is a great point. And now I want to pivot this interview a little bit towards HVAC owners, right? And so what Isaiah just said to me is probably one of the most important things for this industry. And if you guys go back and read my blog, I'll put a link to it at the bottom. I actually lay out some ways that HVAC owners can get more involved with the youth to get them into this industry. And you just one of the many things, for example, I coach a high school rugby team and we invite people from the community that has blue collar type of jobs that does not need college educations to come talk to our players every Thursday night, to kind of lay it out there to say, college might not be for you. You might not be able to afford it, or you just don't feel like, right? He doesn't really feel like being in class anymore. Here's an industry that would love you. And my message to HVAC owners would be, grab these kids at a young age because you can teach them your ways. And you can teach them how you want your company to work and operate, right, Isaiah?
Yeah.
You went to work for a place I used to work, pretty close to my heart. And great company, great people. However, the service manager took you under his wing and taught you the ways, maybe not industry ways, but the ways he wanted you to do things.
Yeah,
right?
and it definitely helped. And just when you work for a great company like that, and you have that type of just like when you had the bosses that I had and the people around you that I had, it makes the job just a million times better. And they like all my coworkers used to want to teach me, and they used to want to be able to inform me and give me a better look at certain things and teach me how to do certain things. And it was probably some of the best knowledge I could have asked for. And I'm really gracious and have a lot of gratitude for the fact that they took the time to be able to show me those things and be able to really take the time out of their day to enjoy teaching me the trade and doing it properly.
Right. And so for you too, right? Any comments on that? No comment. So two last questions.
Yeah.
First one, what would you say to a company owner that might be watching this video that is maybe hesitant or on the fence to go find young guys to get into this trade? What advice would you have for them? Where can they reach out to young people? How can we get young people in this industry?
Social media, I'd say definitely is probably a huge one. Just nowadays, everybody walks around with $1,000 phone in their pocket and they're on it all day, swiping through their phone. So I would say social media is definitely one. But I mean, kids nowadays, the problem with society now is it's to the point where people have the option not to work and make money, and there's just a million different ways to not necessarily go out and actually have a job and be able to be of somewhat of a success, I guess I could say. But I mean, just realistically, I'd say social media is a big one, but
The community, right?
the community, yeah. I'm trying to think of like a good place that you could really.
Well, the high school would be...
High school would be one, yeah. I mean, when they do those job things every year, bringing in people and being able, but I feel like being able to show videos and being able to show live kind of what you're looking at would make it so much better.
Like what you do on a daily
basis.
basis?
Yeah, like being able to have almost like a little 5-minute video on like what you get to entitle to, or what you get to deal with through the day, some of the problems you can go through, some of the repairs you get to do. Kind of just like if there would be a way to have a template where you can really just kind of have a day in the life of an HVAC tech, but hitting multiple different points on that, I think a lot of young people would find that they would have some incredible enjoyment in the industry and field. So. And
then maybe releasing that on a social media type of application.
Yeah, but also like high school when they have those big like job fairs and stuff like that, being able to kind of reach out, but. It's also just about, the type of people that are out there nowadays. It's not, you really got to kind of search hard for a hardworking young individual now, but they're definitely out there. So.
All right, so I'm going to let Grayson answer that, but Isaiah just brought up another question. So actually we have 3 final questions.
That's cool.
Right.
So I've been talking to my friends and people I know at school, and they just have to go out and find that they enjoy something. People give up after the first week of doing something without experiencing everything. Because my first week, I thought I didn't like it, but I was just stuck in the warehouse. I didn't get to experience being in the field, doing an install. And once that happened, I actually did have a lot of fun.
Right. So, interesting thing that both of them mentioned was work ethic. I don't know if anybody picked up on that, is how work ethic kind of played into that. So my second question would be, and remember I have one more, so I preface it by saying, what would you say to young guys your age that is kind of just drifting out there, you know, maybe somebody that has decent work ethic, but just kind of just hanging out, don't really know where to go in life? Well, what's the message?
Actually, matter of fact, funny thing about this is I have people all the time asking me, what do you do? Like, how do I get into? And I'll tell them I do HVAC. They'll be like, how do I get into it? How do I approach it? Like where are jobs and everything. Um, Basically, what I would say to younger people is if you have the workmanship and you really have the heart and you're willing to kind of get down and get dirty and use your hands and kind of feel successful and feel like you really kind of have some like workforce behind you, HVAC is definitely the way to go. And there's also plumbing and electrical too. There's definitely more than one trade, carpentry, all of them. But in my instance, I mean, if you're really determined and you genuinely enjoy kind of getting dirty and working with your hands and really getting out there, I would say HVAC is just it's a great industry. Like I try my best to push people to join the industry, and when I have friends and people asking about jobs and everything, I'll give them recommendations to companies, and I'll tell them, you kind of want to start at the bottom where you're doing install, so you can understand supply, return, you can understand airflow, you can understand kind of all the basics, so then you can work into where I'm at. I kind of skipped the install part and went straight to service, and it would have been 100 times easier had I had that background knowledge and had the install knowledge to be able to even perform on my job a little bit better. But I mean, whenever I have the opportunity, I try to push people and tell people, if it's something, if you like working with your hands and you like, feeling good about your work, and if you feel like it's something, you'd be good at, then, it's a great job and a great industry and great field to work in. So
That's an awesome answer. All right. How do we get more kids from West Johnson High School to join this industry?
Reaching out.
Reaching.
You just have to find the right ones. There's almost 3,000 kids that go to that school, and I already know a few that would enjoy it.
Okay, so are you currently encouraging them?
I
So
am.
if I'm a business owner and I want to get some of these kids to come work for me, how do I do that?
Honestly, you just got to give them a chance. It just might take a while for them to actually start enjoying, but if they have the patience to learn what to do, I think they'll do it.
Now, I know after conversations with your boss before you got the job that he was really trying to get into the school system and trying to get kids to get into the HVAC industry, and he was kind of stonewalled. So I think the message here is probably for the school systems to allow the trades to come in and, let's allow the trade owners to kind of come in and talk to the kids. Yeah. I mean, if in your shop class, if Sandy would have come in and talked to you about getting into the HVAC industry, do you think that would be something you would probably gotten into?
I think I would.
Yeah, right. And so I think that's a big problem, a big talking point for this industry in general is get involved with the school systems, right? And try to get in shop class and kind of try to find these kids before that happens. Now, last question. You have an unlimited budget, and you get to create a software that would help you in the field,
okay.
doing whatever you do on a daily basis. What would that be? What would the things be that you would develop?
That I would develop.
What would you want that software to do?
I definitely would want the software, well, a whole bunch of things. I'd want it to be able to do truck stock, and software's now kind of hit on a lot of things as well. I mean, they already cover about 95% of what we do on our day-to-day. But it'd be really cool to, like, for newer softwares, when we're working in certain homes and, we need to put 2 units on them and they have zone systems. It'd be super cool sometimes to have 3D, like be able to have a 3D program of when you're looking at a house, you can have, all your windows and everything, be able to figure out your CFMs, be able to have like mathing calculators and kind of stuff on that. on that side of it. So when you're, installing it and doing that type of stuff, you kind of know if you need to go with a 2-ton, outdoor unit or with a 2.5-ton coil on it, or.
So let me interrupt you for a second. You want your dispatching software to have a load calculation program in it as well.
Yes, that would be awesome. And then on top of that, to be able to have like truck stock, and be able to have where you can just input inventory whenever you use a part, take a part, whenever, you know what I mean, be able to keep track of all that, and it automatically kind of, you have it on, like when you click on one of your side screens, to be able to pull up everything you have. So if you're inside talking to a customer and you have like a bad outdoor fan motor, or you have like just a bad capacitor or a bad contactor or something, you can just go right there, boom, yes, I have it on my truck, before you tell a customer, oh, I might think, and then you're in the back of the truck looking for 10 minutes to find that part or whatever.
How about training and troubleshooting at the unit?
I think it'd be super cool to input, like, if let's say you're troubleshooting, give me something to troubleshoot
Compressor.
real quick. A compressor. Okay, let's say we have a grounded compressor. I think it'd be super cool to be able to, like, automatically click on, like, if you were to click, like, if you had a little side thing and you were to go down and you click, let's say for instance, grounded compressor, you clicked on it. It'd be super cool if you could be able to pull up like a video, or be able to pull up kind of a log of data to tell you, what my ohms, like if I ohm out my compressor, or how, if I go between start and run and it's producing continuity, or kind of just like a little chart on how to troubleshoot it, or how to figure out your problem, I think would also be super cool. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. So a little bit different perspective for you, but what do you think would be cool to have in a software program?
A really good clock in, clock out feature, because right now we're doing that on paper.
Okay.
And I've tended to forget doing that a few times. So
Right.
That
so
is good.
That's good,
Yeah,
right?
that is
So
good,
actually,
definitely.
one of the things that Thermogrid does really well is we geofence the clock in, clock out. So when you pull up to the job, it automatically clocks you in, and when you leave, it clocks you out, right? So that's kind of out there already. But guys, this was really cool to just be able to sit down with you and kind of get a pulse on what young people think of this industry. Obviously, I started completely different than you guys in this industry, right? So it's really cool to see how far it has come, and some of the things that we can now do to help you guys get to this point. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it and you like listening to these two knuckleheads talk, please like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to do more of that. Actually, this coming week, I'm interviewing a friend of mine that's one of the top people at a very large HVAC company in the Raleigh area. And the discussion between us is going to be on what they're doing to get youth in this industry. And actually, I think you used to work there. You didn't even know this, right? So I'm interviewing LaDonna this coming week. So
Oh, that's sick.
it's all about what they're doing with the local community college and everything else they're trying to do to get youth within this industry. So again, if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. It helps us gain some traction here. And any questions, please give us a shout. There's many of these things that Thermogrid already helps with. I'm not trying to make these very salesy. I'm trying to make these more informative. So this is what the youth is saying, business owners. This is what the youth is kind of telling you, giving you some tips on where to go find. Because in my opinion, instead of hiring a crusty old guy that's been doing it the same way for 40 years and have bad habits, go find you a couple of young guys and teach them your habits. So thanks again for listening. We will be back next week. Thanks.